Hey, it's Mrs. Blankenbeckler back with the quadratic formula. And we did a little singing the other day in class, and it goes negative b, plus or minus square root, plus or minus square root, b squared minus 4ac, b squared minus 4ac, that's all under the radical, over 2a, over 2a, and there is the quadratic formula as Frere Jacques. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we have three variables, a, b, and c. And that's what we need to define first when we're solving using the quadratic formula. And just to preface it, it says in the LMS, but I'm going to say it one more time. You can use this with any quadratic, whether it factors or whether it doesn't. So it's kind of one of those things that it's an all-fail solving. Okay, in this one we have x squared minus 5x plus 4 equals 0. Notice it's already in descending order, so it's ready to solve. Okay, if not, move it around, get it in descending order with your quadratic, your linear term, and your constant term in order. Okay, A, coefficient to the x squared. That's a positive 1. B, don't be tricked. B is negative 5. Okay, you always have to take the sign with it. And C is 4 in this problem. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to start plugging in. Negative b is the opposite of b. Opposite of b, what's the opposite of negative 5? Positive 5. Positive 5 plus or minus b squared. Negative 5 quantity squared. So I'm squaring the negative, so don't be tricked on that one either. Plus or minus 4a is a positive 1. And c is a positive 4. All over 2 times a. Well, a, I'm substituting in 1. So there's all my substitution steps. Now I need to actually work it out. So I just bring down my 5 plus or minus. Now this is the hardest part. And that's cleaning up this quadratic. 5 squared is 25. 25 minus 4 times 1 times 4 minus 16. So under the radical, I have 25 minus 16. All over 2 times 1 or 2. So 25 minus 16 is 9. So I'm going to have 5 plus or minus 9 over 2. So now I need to figure out my two solutions. Let's take one at a time. 5 plus 9 is 14. Divided by 2 is 7. So one of my solutions is 7. 5 minus 9 is negative 4. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So there is my other solution. So 7 and negative 2 are my two solutions to the quadratic. And that's how I would solve that. So, wait a minute. I made a mistake. Right here. Where did Mrs. C make her mistake? I forgot to take the square root of my 9. This all is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. I'm going to add and subtract 3 before I divide. So 5 plus 3 is 8. Divided by 2 is 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So my two solutions are 4 and 1. Don't forget to take the square root. Okay. Hopefully that was a little quick version of the quadratic formula. I'm going to do one more, and this time I'm not going to forget to take the square root of my number. Okay, let's throw one up that's a little more involved. How about negative x squared plus 6x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, here's my quadratic descending order. I need to define a, which is negative 1, b this time is positive 6, and c is positive 3. Negative b is opposite of 6 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 36, minus 4ac. ac over 2a. Whew. Okay, there's my substitution. And you could stop this at any point and try it on your own and just check it. So I'm going to get negative 6 plus or minus Now let's clean up the square root. Negative times a negative is a positive. This part is 12. So 36 plus 12 is 48. All over negative 2. Now 48 can be simplified, can't it? The square root of 48 breaks down to 16 times 3. And 16 is a perfect square. So I can take the square root of 16, which is 4. So 4 square roots of 3 is what this portion is going to be replaced by. So I'm just going to go over here because of space. And I'm going to erase the square root of 48. I'm going to put 4 square root 3. Now, most people can get to here. My daughter actually did this earlier this year, and she got to all the way to here and then didn't know how to simplify this. What you need to do is divide every term by 2. So that means the 6 and the 4. You're not going to divide the 3 by 2 because it's under the radical. Only the outside to outside. This is outside of radical, that's outside the radical. But all 3 of these terms are divisible by 2. So I divide that by negative 2, end up with 1. Divide this by negative 2, and that gives me 3. And then this one I divide by negative 2, and it's just going to still be plus or minus, isn't it? So I'm going to get 3 plus or minus the square root of 2 root 3. Now, the last one, I could take 3 and add that, and I could take 3 and subtract it. But since this one has a radical, I'm actually done at this point. So 3 plus or minus 2 square root of 3 is my final answer. And there we go. And we're done. Okay? So there was a lot with this problem. We had to define A, B, and C. When we cleaned it up, we got 48. 48 we cleaned up to 4 square root 3, and I replaced it here. But when I went to reduce it, I have to reduce all 3 terms. It has to be divisible by all 3. So there's the quadratic formula, and hopefully that will help you. The next short little clip is going to be on the discriminants. So hopefully you'll watch that, and I'm going to keep these last ones really short so you can pick and choose what you need.